Hey everyone, and welcome back to Cruising with Matthew. Today I'm going to give you some hints and tips about Fred Olsen's Borealis, so you can make the most of your time on board this fantastic ship. So I hope you really enjoy this video. Before I start, I want to highlight today's sponsor, which is My Kind of Cruise. They are the world's first and only mobile app where you can search, compare and book a cruise across a range of cruise lines. I've actually booked with them for my April 2023 cruise on board the fabulous P&O Britannia, and I was super impressed with their high standards of customer service and great prices. Therefore, if you want to check them out yourselves, then click on the link in the description below. Now, on with the video. Number 1. Borealis is a medium-sized ship. Now, although I feel like I'm stating the obvious a little bit, I just wanted to mention that Borealis is a medium ship by today's standards. She weighs in at 61,000 gross tons with a capacity of 1,300 passengers and 660 crew. As a result, it felt like this was the perfect ship for my boyfriend Yeyan to try, as everything was easy to access and within a short walking distance in comparison to larger ships. Likewise, it also creates a more friendly atmosphere on the ship, as you are always more likely to bump into fellow passengers, so you get more chance to be able to get to know them. This also applied to the friendly crew on board, as they quickly got to know our preferences, and this was especially useful for Yeyan, as they quickly adapted to his dairy intolerance requirements, which really helped put us at ease. As a result, her size really helped make Borealis feel like a friendly and welcoming ship, which quickly became familiar to us, so much so I was really sad to leave her, as she felt like my second home almost. Number 2. Enjoy the Promenade deck. Now, Borealis was launched in 1996, which actually makes her a year older than me. She doesn't feel her age, however, as she's incredibly well maintained by Fred Olsen. However, as a result of her age, she has some fantastic traditional features that modern cruise ships often lack, and one example is a fantastic wide promenade deck. This is one of my favourite features of Borealis, as a promenade deck always helps me connect with the sea and feel much closer to it. Me and Yeyan absolutely loved walking around here day and night, as you got some stunning views and you got to see things from a different perspective. One such example was when we were sailing out of La Coruña and we were treated to a stunning sunset as well as some rather choppy seas as we left the harbour area. As a result, I couldn't help but look down the entire length of this deck and watch as the ship rose and fell with the waves. It was so much fun, albeit a little windy, but totally worth it. Now, on the topic of the promenade deck, I just wanted to highlight a quirk of the ship's design that I haven't come across before. Now, both Borealis and her sister ship actually have a number of cabins situated on the promenade deck itself. This includes some outside cabins which may be completely restricted, although these are indicated on the deck plans. But it's important to note that even those which aren't marked also have their windows set back, as the promenade is in front of all those cabins, so the view may be obscured a little bit. This is also the case for the terrace cabins, which have these large doors opening right out onto the promenade deck from your cabin. Therefore, you don't have your own bit of private deck space, but instead opens right out onto the promenade deck, although you do get your own reserved sunbeds on the promenade deck, which is a nice touch. This being said, however, all the windows and doors belonging to both cabin types on this deck have reflective glass on them, so no one can look straight into your cabin. It's totally personal preference if you like these cabins or not, but I thought it was just something worth mentioning. Number 3. Try breakfast in the main dining room. Now, due to Yeyan's dairy intolerance, he suggested that we try eating in the main dining room for breakfast. As a result, our first sea day on Borealis was the first time I've ever had breakfast in a main dining room. I was super impressed, as you get pretty much the same options as you would do in the buffet, but in a slightly more relaxed and refined environment. The food was so good, and I even got to enjoy something different, such as this apparently healthy pure chocolate bowl and a fantastically presented cooked breakfast. An unexpected bonus for our first sea day was the fact that we got offered some champagne here too, and this was due to the fact that it was the captain's welcome party that evening. Granted, it was a little early in the day to be having champagne, but I didn't mind, as you're on a cruise, so why not? Number 4. Make the most of the observatory. Now, the observatory is one of my favourite spaces on board Borealis, situated all the way at the front of the ship on deck 9. This offers some fantastic panoramic views and a variety of seats to relax in. This was also the site of some of the quizzes going on Borealis, such as a musical trivia session which we did absolutely terrible at, although it was lots of fun. By night, however, this space really comes into its own, as it's the perfect place to enjoy a few pre- or post-dinner cocktails. What made it even better was the fact there was frequently live performers here. This included a fantastically talented David Bowie tribute act and daily performances by the Inspiration Band. Now, the observatory is also the place where you can enjoy premium traditional afternoon tea. This costs £13 per person, which Fred Olsen kindly gifted us during our cruise. Personally, I wouldn't hesitate to do this again, as you got to enjoy a yummy afternoon tea filled with sandwiches, cakes and scones, which you got to enjoy whilst looking out to sea with a pianist playing in the background. Now personally, this is my idea of heaven, so I was very happy during this. The staff were really attentive, offering us a variety of teas and coffees which are included in your fare, or you could also enjoy a Pimm's, although this did cost extra. But we couldn't help but try those, as it felt quite fitting for the occasion. Number 5. Watch a cookery demonstration in the auditorium. Now, the auditorium is a space which is new to Fred Olsen ships, being present on both Belletta and Borealis. This is a multifunctional space which can be utilised as a cinema, an area for talks, or in our case, cookery demonstrations. Now, this was a really fun activity, as the chefs showcasing their talents was incredibly passionate about their work and explained in detail how they made each dish, dosed with good amount of humour too. They were happy to answer any questions you might have, so it was a really interesting learning experience, and as a foodie, I really appreciated the tips. What made it even better was the fact that near the end of the demonstration, you got to try small samples of the dish being showcased to us, which I felt was a really nice touch. These do tend to start relatively early in the morning, but I'd highly recommend, as I found it super informative and it's included within your cruise fare, so why not give it a go one day? Number 6. Make the most of the Neptune Theatre. Now, the Neptune Theatre is a stunning two-tiered space where most of the main entertainment acts are held every evening. What I loved about the Neptune Theatre was the fact that it had a more relaxed style of seating in comparison to your standard theatre. Instead of rows and rows of seats, most of the seating was arranged into these small sofas or individual armchair style seats, which were super comfortable. We personally enjoyed sitting in the balcony area, as you got some fantastic views of the performances going on. The entertainment on Fred Olsen ships were really well done, and we were particularly impressed with the Borealis Theatre Company, who got to show off their incredible talents in their homage to music at the movies. However, there's also other things to look out for in this space. This includes informative destination talks about the ports that you're visiting, as well as the fabulous Captain's Welcome Party. At this event, you get to enjoy some free drinks, which is always appreciated, and are served these wonderful canapes whilst you listen to some live music. In our case, we got to listen to the extremely talented Borealis string trio, and as a result, it really made the whole event feel quite special, and we felt wonderfully spoilt. Then we got to hear from the captain, who introduced all the heads of department on board, and it just really helped give a sense of occasion to our first full day on Borealis. So I'd really recommend looking out for the welcome party during your cruise. Number 7. Try the specialty restaurants on board Borealis. Now, I'm a firm believer that you don't have to go to a specialty restaurant in order to have a good meal on your cruise, and this is definitely the case for Borealis, as the food that we got to enjoy for our dinner in the main dining room was always super impressive. However, we were kindly gifted the chance to dine in Borealis's 2 specialty dining choices, Vasco, which is inspired by Goan cuisine, and Colours and Taste, which serves dishes inspired from Japan, Thailand, China and the Philippines. The food in both of these restaurants was so tasty, with generous portions to boot. A massive plus for us was how accommodating they were with Yeyan's dairy intolerance, giving him the opportunity to order the day before to ensure that there were no issues during our dinner. The service itself was absolutely fabulous, with the staff being so attentive and enthusiastic, as for many of the staff here, they were getting to showcase food from their own countries. As a result, it was such a privilege to learn about the meals we were about to enjoy by people who lived in the countries the dishes were inspired from and felt really special. What makes these restaurants even better is that they're fantastic value, each costing £10 if booked before the cruise or £15 on board. It also offered something a little different and felt like a genuine, authentic experience, so something I definitely recommend, although if you prefer, you will still have a fantastic time in the main dining room. Number 8. Enjoy a pre-dinner drink at the Ocean Bar. Now, the Ocean Bar is a wonderful gem of a venue and seemed to hide in plain sight during our cruise. Tastefully decorated and situated on deck 5 in the top level of the atrium, it's a wonderful place to sit back and relax before dinner. What I really liked about this space was the fact that there was always some live entertainment going on here in an evening, such as the Borealis String Trio or the talented house band Circle of Fifths. Although their timings often clashed with performances going on in other areas, it contributed to the impressive amount of entertainment options going on around the ship in an evening. In the case of the Ocean Bar, it offered a more relaxing start to the evening, listening to gentle music whilst drinking your favourite cocktail. So there you have it, my hints and tips on how to make the most of your time on board Fred Olsen's Borealis. Thank you so much for My Kind of Cruise for sponsoring this video, and thank you so much to Fred Olsen for gifting us the afternoon tea and specialty dining experiences during our cruise. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please like and subscribe because it's always appreciated. If you want to know more about Cruising with Matthew, then take a look at my other social media sites, the links are in the description below. I hope that you're all doing well at the moment, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. So until next time, this is Cruising with Matthew, and thank you so much for watching.